Hey YouTube, Tamara Rose Blodgett. So glad you're here. Thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't click the button and follow me. Subscribe to me here. I did get my mic, guys, but I have not had the time to sort it yet. We will be leaving to see our son in the beginning of July and meet the new grand and meet his girl and do all that stuff. And so there's just been a lot of work type things I've been trying to accomplish before I go, so I can take some time off. I usually work an hour or two in the early morning, but I will be trying to still do all the things I'm doing. So I want to get right into this. I did go see a naturopath yesterday, and she was recommended to me by my niece. And my niece has been struggling with some hormonal stuff, perimenopause, and she had a surgery that advanced that. And she'd been struggling with weight gain and not feeling well and all this stuff. And I've been struggling with the same things. I'm in menopause, I'm postmenopausal, but only for the last almost 3 years. So I went into menopause very late. I didn't really notice any perimenopause stuff. I just kind of went right from being fertile to then not being fertile, which is kind of how I like to put it, because that's the only difference, really. Still a woman, right? But I'm just no longer able to have babies, which doesn't bother me. So I went and I was a little disappointed. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting her, based on my niece's thoughts and reactions and insights, I was expecting her to be a little bit less cookbook medicine, not like an MD. She was going to be an ND naturopath, and she was going to listen and be more holistic and connect with me. And she didn't do any of those things. Her nurse got my blood pressure and my weight, and then asked me why I was wanting to see the doctor. And I gave her a broad overview, you know, just kind of a big paintbrush, broad swath type of thing. And the gal came in, she said, "This is who I am." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she said, "Did you have anything else to add aside from what you told my nurse?" And I was like, "I have a lot to add. For one, I told the nurse that I had never really gone to the doctor for any kind of holistic anything. I'd been to the doctor 4 times when I had babies, and it was always part of my insurance protocol, and I went to prenatals and things like that. But to just go to the doctor because I had a problem would be rare." And so I was really wanting, for $300 some odd for 20 minutes is what it ended up being. I was really wanting a higher degree of care. I wanted her to really listen to what I was saying. And I could tell that she had a timeline that she wanted to be with me. And no matter what I said or how I behaved or anything, she needed to go on to the next patient. And I was super disappointed with that. And then when we finished our little chat, I was not clear that we were done. Like, she said, "Oh, the nurse," she said her name, she'll go ahead and take your blood work up for the test that we've decided on you getting. And she said, "And that's right down the hall. She'll be right with you." And I said, "Okay." She didn't say goodbye. She didn't say, "Hey, it was nice to meet you. I'll see you next time. I'll see you after you take the Dutch test." And that's what this is here. That's what that is. She didn't like close the loop of having met me. And I thought that was super bad. Like, that's just baseline civility there. And I could tell that she was a little irritated with me because I wanted to impart a lot of information. Like, I told her about the supplements I was taking, the iodine, the Mag C, the blah, blah, blah. I told her about all the skin issues I was having. And she goes, "Well, we need to do a gut reset," she said. And so for a really high price, she sold me this stuff. This was one, and then that's the other. It's a suite of 4 things. And then these two items too. And they're supposed to be powerful probiotics, which I know that's the only thing I really liked about her. And then here's my schedule of what to do with them. Because she said a lot of this Hashimoto stuff is tethered to the gut. And I was like, yes, I liked that she said that, because that's what I had found through my research on YouTube with various doctors and things that have purported, yes, that's a problem. It starts with the gut. It starts with all that stuff. And then she also said something I thought was pretty smart. She's like, well, gluten's a real problem for Hashi's people because it mimics the thyroid. And so the body attacks the gluten, of course, because it's a problem anyway. And then it also tries to attack the thyroid because it gets confused and kind of lumps it all together. So all that seemed pretty good. But, I was trying to tell her, what supplements I was taking. I was trying to tell her, that I had joint pain. And I think she was just kind of dismissive. Like, I tried to tell her, I've gained 25 pounds in 18 months and my joints, I shouldn't hurt this bad. I told her. And I understand I have tendonitis. That's a separate issue and stuff. I said, but this is a problem. I said, my mom had RA. I'm feeling, my wrists are sore. My fingers are sore. I've had nodules on my thumbs before. My toes are sore. My ankles are now. That's a new thing. And she just seemed to kind of nod her head kind of like whatever. So all told, it was $959. Now that includes that suite that you guys saw. And I don't know how much that was. And I think on her website, she said she was like $300. Okay. So, and there was tax. And here in Washington State, tax is like almost 9%. Okay. So if it was $959, what, $85, $90 was tax. Okay, so let's bring it down to under $900, $875. Then we take off the $425 for the Dutch test, which is an at-home test that I mail in. And then once it's mailed in, she gets pinged, and then her people call me and say, let's talk about what your results are with the test. Okay, and I don't have a penny of insurance, so I had to just put it on my credit card, and then pretty much my whole month of Fiverr's money goes to pay that. So I got 20 minutes of her time and about 10 minutes of the nurse's time. And at the end, I could tell she was being real pushy. She goes, so what tests do you want from me? And I was like, okay, so she's wanting to prompt me to advance our conversation. Okay. And I understand that without data, she can't offer anything, and it would be speculative too. But I didn't love it. I just thought that she could have given me more, a little bit more time, asked some more deliberate questions and everything. And I was a little kind of horrified. But anyhow, I'm going to try the gut protocol, but I'm not going to start on it until I return from my holiday seeing our kid, because it's those 4 things and I have to keep doing it, right? On this regime of morning and night for the most part. So that's separate than the Dutch test. The Dutch test I'm going to do tomorrow. And what this test is it tests progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, B12, which you guys know my B12 is going to be great because of my beef-centric diet, right? And I've already had that tested and it was way up there. So that's just inclusive, right? Nothing you can do about it. And then most importantly, the cortisol. And when I was in her office, what I was reading there was that cortisol is the thing that wakes you up from 2 to 4 in the morning. It's the thing that makes your heart race, and I felt very bright and awake. And that was something that I was really struggling with for about 2 or 3 years, and now it seems most recently it's gone away. And then another thing I was struggling with, beside the weight gain, of course, because that waking up in the middle of the night, then the weight gain are very indicative of cortisol. And then I had some night sweats and very little hot flashes, but that's been almost 1.5 years since I've experienced that, and that was indicative of low progesterone. It makes me wonder if the body is just moving me through menopause at a normal pace, like I went through this thing, and then I'm going through that thing, and then it regulates my hormones better because my eating is a little bit better, and then it goes forward. So then what I did was that we're getting a TSH to see where my TSH is, and then we're getting antibodies to see where the Hashimoto's numbers are. And that's going to be really good to just have that baseline. And then she's doing what she calls an A and A test. So that's an A, like apple, and an ampersand, like and then A. She's doing that test for me because she said it tests for a broad range of autoimmune. And I'm doing it in an exclusionary method by getting these tests. I want to make sure that I don't have RA, because with all this joint pain, it mimics RA, it mimics menopause, it mimics Hashimoto's. So what do I have that's actually causing it? And then I can have a plan of attack. So that's what I'm waiting for. The Dutch test is kind of weird. You have to take it at very precise times and not have fluids within, an hour or two of taking each test all day long. There's like 4 or 5 of them. And you can't have avocado or banana within 48 hours of taking before taking the test. What's the other thing? You have to pee in a cup, then you have to dip the test there and then let it dry for 24 hours, then fold it up. I mean, it's a rigor. Anyway, it was $425, and I hated spending the money, you guys. I hated it. But I have no baseline. I don't know where my hormones are at. I don't know where my cortisol's at, and I wanted to know, and maybe I never have to get it again. Because once I feel better, why would I pay for tests, right? So I do understand why some carnivores and low-carb people get tested initially, but they don't get retested. Because once their numbers are correct, or they know where they're at, and they just begin to feel better, they don't bother with it, because it costs money and it takes time, and none of us want to do that, right? Not anymore. I mean, everybody is just so about the time. So I will be doing that tomorrow, and then I will start on this supplement suite. All these probiotics. She said yogurt didn't cut it. I did get some yogurt. I got Chobani. I got Chobani because it's a low-carb, full-fat, Greek-style yogurt that has the most probiotics in it. It's the better of all the yogurts, and I like yogurt. So I'm going to do that as well. But I've known for a long time, at least a year, that I needed to be on some kind of probiotic protocol. And I just hadn't gotten around to doing it all, And I did give up alcohol. I had some wine last night, and then I had, I think, a drink about a week and a half ago. But I'm just not willing to have that as part of the regime of my system or a consumable right now, because I just feel like everything is just so inflamed and so sore that obviously I don't want to challenge my liver with anything that can heighten that and make it worse. So I'm done with that stuff. So anyway, that's what's happening right now. I had a longer video before that I had done a walk and talk, but I decided that because I was getting the naturopath appointment done, I would talk about that in real time. It was just yesterday. This is my video for today. It's Friday. And then I will be leaving for Indianapolis next week. And we'll be spending the 4th of July with our son and daughter-in-law in waiting and baby. So I'm very excited about that. And I wanted to make sure I was faithful to getting a video out. And I wanted you guys to know I think I'm going to be moving over my author writing and book content to my TamaraRoseBlodgett.com website I've had for almost 15 years, from which I just did this book review. And I will put the link down below if you guys are interested in author readings and my book reviews on books I read. I read at least a book a week, sometimes 2. And they're just a variety of subjects. I now have a book club that I'm a part of with my daughter-in-laws, and we're selecting books on a big Google spreadsheet where everybody enters their books they want, their 3 books, and then we choose one after the other book has been read. So we finished Alana, Song of the Lioness, which is a high fantasy middle grade book. And then I went on to this, and I ordered all 4 of the Alana books, and they're coming from eBay. They're kind of a second edition type. So I have those coming, and that's exciting too. So anyway, lots of things in the works. You can follow me on Clapper. You can subscribe or follow me on my blog, my website, where I will be talking about book-centric stuff, writing, things of that nature. And then you can also follow me here, subscribe, and like this video. And if you think other people are concerned about their health, or you want to know what my outcome is with my Dutch test and what my plan of attack is going to be when I find out my numbers, because I do have a med portal, and my blood work will come into that with the figures. And the nurse said, oh, it'll be a couple of days. So it's pretty fast, and it's through Quest. So the actual blood work for the TSH and the antibodies and the ANA test was probably pretty reasonable. I didn't get the breakdown, but I knew I was going to be spending some money. yesterday, and I hated to do it. But initially, I just want to get this sorted. I want to know where I'm at. So I guess in that regard, I was happy. But generally, I was like, oh my gosh, right? Anyhow, thank you guys, and stay tuned. I will give you guys kind of a part 2. I am still fat fasting, okay? I'm on alternate day fasting, and the very quick down and dirty is that I just feel better. It's a little bit of a discipline. I'm not really excited about having to go back to it, I'll be honest with that. But I was looking back on my blood work numbers because I gave her 2007, 2009, 2013, and 2021. And I could clearly see how much better my blood work was from when I was doing ADF. My glucose was really nice, and all my numbers were really good. My A1C was better, everything. And I was doing fairly low carb on my eating days. So I'd like to go back to that, not only because I need to lose weight desperately. I'm not gaining anymore, but I'm sitting around, right? But also because I think I feel better. I have much less muscle soreness and joint soreness after a fast day, a fat fasting day. So I will do another video on that shortly. I don't know what I'm going to do when we're back visiting our kid, but I'm going to try to stay on some kind of a schedule. They're obviously not on the 4th, on Independence Day, because they have a big thing planned with my daughter-in-law in waiting's, her family. And I don't want to be, that person that shows up and doesn't eat because I'm on a regime. Needs to be a little bit of flexibility there, but I'm excited about it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking with me and subscribing. It means the world to me. It's a catharsis for me to be able to talk to people about these issues that are on my mind, that I'm passionate about. And there's always somebody out there in this huge world that we have that is interested in the same things I am. And they follow me, and it's really cool. Anyway, thank you. Talk to you soon.